Hello class. I recently made a drive back to Portland from Modesto with my childhood friend. It was a rainy, stormy, windy, terrible drive. Glad to be alive. And I made it on very little sleep. I'm bummed. I wanted to actually try to have some office hours and make myself available to meet people, my students in person, and maybe just kind of talk about whatever we need to talk about stuff. It didn't happen, but moms are first, right? That's how we do. Anyways, I am behind on grading. I'm not terribly behind, as I mentioned, but I am. So I'm going to try to get as much as I can today. So just bear with me. But at least I'm getting my life kind of back on track. I'm back to working at the Kids Center tomorrow as well. It'd sure be nice to have a vacation from my vacation right now, but it is what it is. I'm sure many of you understand. So, we are, we covered Islam, and I feel good in that I think that a lot of you really did find yourself getting exposed to many things that the average American just hasn't had an opportunity to, and it's very important at this moment. Currently, I just want to make this point too. The Islamic world right now, the so-called Islamic world, the world where we have Muslim majorities, right? We're seeing a lot of terrible wars. And I've mentioned this before, and I just want to say this again, though. Syria is a bloodbath. It's terrible. What's happening is terrible. But we tend to be naive if we just trust the Democrats and Republicans and our political parties, to be blunt. I'm a historian. We know that politicians, what they say and what they do and what's going on are not always the same. But for some reason, as Americans, even sometimes when we were professors, we just kind of take for granted. We kind of pick characters and regimes that we like and we believe, whether it's our own or somebody else's. What you need to realize is that the poor people of Syria have been trapped between superpowers with their own interests: Russia, Turkey, Iran, the United States. Israel has their own sets of interests. Everybody, Lebanon with Hezbollah. There's just so many different outsiders who have invested time and weapons and money and sorts of things and hopes to make this turn out to a way that if it's their interests. And so, in a sense, the real tragedy of Syria is how all the world is basically really not looking out, making something, a peace plan in which to actually bring relief to Syrians. Nobody wants to take the refugees, or not many. There certainly is a problem with that. So, but people have no problem investing. Saudi Arabia has no problem investing in weapons and militia groups there, but they're not wanting to help out refugees there. Our government now cries over seeing pictures of children being killed, but we don't want to take in refugees. So, I mean, where's the care? And to be more cynical, I want you to research Yemen. At some point this week, I'm going to throw you a documentary. Since Obama, mainly under Obama actually, but still continuing under Trump, Saudi Arabia has been basically carpet bombing Yemen, killing lots of children, and Iran has been supporting one group in there as well. So basically Saudi Arabia and Iran have mainly been wanting to support sides in a civil war of sorts in Yemen. The U.S. government is one of the main allies in backing Saudi Arabia's destruction of Yemen. And humanitarian groups claim that basically it's almost as worse or as bad as Syria. So when our government says how terrible things are going on in Syria and how bad Putin is and Assad, we are then helping Saudi Arabia do the same thing in Yemen. Yes, should you be cynical? What's the answer? Well, we could start by just not taking our politicians at face value for what they say and realize that there's this thing in politics called interests. And what are those interests? And are those interests we the people's interests? That's a whole other debate. But I want you to pay attention. And in Africa, the U.S. is involved quite a bit as well. Egypt gets the second largest military aid out of the entire world. We give Egypt the second amount of largest military aid. Israel first. And that's a whole other topic. Now, going into the topic of Africa, what I'm hoping is that when you look into this set of lectures, that you see that Africa is many things. Diverse, rich culture. And the documentary that I have you watch at the end is really good at kind of showing the dilemma that Africa has faced and why their own history has not been as known, and it's been more murky compared to so many other civilizations. So I hope that you will find this week's information equally of interest as any other subject and that we've covered, and that you have a good week, and we will be in touch.